And we're live. First episode of 2024.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys had a good holiday and starting off the new year right.
Yes, hopefully
First one this year.
Crazy year ahead of us, that's for sure.
52 episodes.
If not more.
If not more. So,
never know.
Great
We
guests.
Go live on a special day.
Exactly. We don't hear it unturned pages. We don't conform to just sticking solely on Sunday. If we have to, we'll work with your schedule. If you want to be a guest, we'll work with your schedule. Do a pre-recorded. We'll do a live. We'll do whatever.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So our first guests of 2024 are good friends of mine, Kelly and Chris. They're out of Iowa. They travel all over the country investigating, doing events, hosting events. I love these two. I've known Kelly for, I want to say 10 plus years now, and Chris, I think a couple good years now. They're a great couple. I love them. So let's bring them on. There you are.
There we are.
How are you guys?
So good. Love that intro. That was fun.
I know, right?
And stuff.
Yeah, our friend Larry of Expedition Entity made it for us. So
awesome.
Super grateful for him to be making us the intro because it was a lot better than what I was going to do.
I definitely have no skill in stuff like that. So that's why I leave all the creative stuff up to him.
Chris is the creative one.
Yeah. She keeps us afloat like they're pretty much every other aspect though, so it's pretty much a fair trade.
Yeah.
Jenny is my secondhand person. Like we're like, hey, I need a graphic for this. And she's like, done. And 5 minutes later, I get a graphic.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe we need something like this, and boom, it's done, and it's beautiful. And mine looks like a kindergartner got a hold of a crayon, and
I can't even draw stick figures correctly.
Right?
So like,
it's really bad. It's really bad.
My artistic ability goes to writing and things like that, not graphic design and whatnot. So
I can organize.
Yeah, she can organize really good, which is something I desperately need in my life. Because holy shit.
Hey, I just got a new equipment case for Christmas. If you want to organize that for me.
Hell yeah. Everybody else is like, oh no, I'm like, oh please, can I please?
Cut out the foam inserts.
Oh my god, you haven't done that. Oh.
I've done it before, but this is the first time. This is the first time my wife and I had an actual like good case. So like she asked for it for Christmas for all our equipment because right now, like when you're starting out, I mean, I've been in the field for almost 30 years, but you know, you pretty much throw everything into a bag, a backpack, you know, something, you know, easy to grab. Yeah, easy to grab when you're on an investigation and whatnot. But we have over the years that have progressed that her and I have been together, we've kind of accumulated some equipment that are higher up in pricing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we should probably take care of this rather than just tossing it into a book bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the stupidest things because yes, he's very much a throw things in a backpack person, and I'm like everything has a spot. And so now we've got these cases, and they're beautiful, and there's all these little compartments, and like
nothing has a spot.
It doesn't.
It does not have a spot.
Whether it goes into the case, it's just not a consistent spot. It's ever revolving. Just like this, most of the time, this one's like visual stuff. This one's our audio equipment.
It's like a cat. If it fits, it sits.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the thought of having a new foam case that I could take out all the little foam cases and makes me happy.
Is that the equivalent to sitting there popping bubble wrap?
Oh, it's better. It's better.
Like these bubble wrap.
Because then you get to open your case every time and go, oh, look how nice that is.
I could see you out there with like the ruler, like measuring every piece of equipment. Like, okay, we need a 30-degree angle here to fit it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I could see Kelly doing that. And Chris just like, throw it in the bag. I'm done. I'm ready to go.
That's Jenny, how I've always investigated.
If you ever watch us pack up at a show, it's hilarious because he just kind of stands back and lets me pack, and then he'll take it all out to the car. He carries everything.
I'm really good at lifting heavy things. I'm not good at the I can be good at the organization thing, but it takes up so much of my bandwidth. I'm much more content with life just being the guy that makes 12 trips to and from the car, just as like she's finishing stuff up. I'm taking this box, I'm taking this box.
So last year, funny story, last year was the first time I actually did, like, because I don't normally like to have tables at events because I'm a very big social. I like to walk around. I don't like to be tied down. And last year was the first time that I actually had a table at the Gettysburg Bash, which they sat me right next to Jenny. But I have a feeling there was some behind the scenes work going on there.
I can't deny it. I can't confess.
But like, I'd bring everything in and set up the table, and like, I'd be like, okay, that looks good. My wife and her friend would come over and be like, no, we're gonna change this. We're gonna move this. We're gonna do that. Like, so I just sit there in the chair, just like.
I would argue I'm better at. Like, I wouldn't say better at, but like I've got like the eye for.
He does have a weird
symmetry and interior design. I would be fantastic at.
Yeah, packiness, not so much, but like figuring out how to display something. I think that goes back into that creativity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's the whole aesthetic feel and how everything flows.
Yeah.
Like I could see him having like a feng shui garden, like the sand and like doing all the designs.
I had a little desktop one actually, like with the sand and the rakes, and you got to put rocks places, and like a Japanese Zen garden.
Yeah.
But the tables always look really good. So, and then you see them on Facebook shortly after it opens, and Chris is sitting on the floor taking a selfie at the table with Kelly behind the table. I'm like, that's like the signature pose of every event.
It kind of started out as a joke. Like, we did it a couple times, and then like the third time we were taking that photo, we realized
we have a thing going and we couldn't not do it. We
started a trend. So I told him we hit the end of 23. We needed to take every single one of those and like make this montage of it.
Well, see, what's really fun about that is when I do events, I'm normally there. I'm doing like speaking engagements, whatever. So I've made it kind of my thing about, instead of going around and taking pictures with the actual people, I'll go around and take a picture with their banner, especially if they have pictures on it. I'll do a selfie with their banner, like with their face sitting there. I've done it to Chris Sanders. I've done it to Brian and Rochelle. I've actually done it to, like, and I see them like looking at me going, you can take a picture with us. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
We're horrible actually about remembering to take pictures with people when we're at the events. I can't tell you the number of times we've been someplace and we're leaving and it's a couple hours into our drive or our flight, and Dan will message me. He's like, damn it, we forgot to take a picture again.
Yep. Yep. I do that every time. I always say at the beginning of the year, I'm like, all right, the events I do, I'm going to set out to do better at taking pictures with everybody. Yeah. And then you get so wrapped up in the event.
New Year's resolutions were meant to be broken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We got to get better at it. We really do, but that's okay. Jenny normally remembers to come get one with us, so I always do. Instead.
I love talking to you guys.
Like, the bash is a big one for me because, you know, I've done this with my 7th year in a row now that I've done it.
Yeah.
And the people that come to the bash, Jenny's first year was last year.
Oh,
and it's an absolutely amazing event. Some great people.
It's a good event.
You know,
definitely
that are there.
Event.
So it's always fun to walk around.
We've talked about heading back out to that one, but it didn't fit in our schedule. I don't remember this year if it's. I don't remember our schedule.
Our schedule's already big, absolutely.
I was gonna say you guys are always on the move, so.
Yeah, trust me, I know exactly how that is. Considering, you know, Jenny has us booked out here until April.
Okay.
So I mean,
yeah, we start. Well, we've got this, and then it's every weekend from here.
There's 2 weekends off, so we've got a live stream scheduled for next weekend, which we're actually pretty excited about because it's going to be like a start to finish investigation, like
nice.
Very nice.
Of a more private gig. So it's actually
it's a complete
it's an undisclosed for, you know, talking about purposes, but it's going to be like that start to finish. Go and actually, like, they've got claims, things they thought they've seen, heard, experienced, and our actually ability to go in and really do an investigation. Because I think it's cool being able to, you know, go to the places that have been on, like, you know, the TV shows and stuff, and I fangirl over stuff like that. But to actually do the investigation process.
And you go into those locations with like that preconceived notions or that bias, even if it's not someplace you're super familiar with, if you know it's a location you can rent as a haunted location, that there's these expectations. And this one is really, it's not. Like you said, it's a private location, and she just wants to know is it really haunted? And if so, by who? You know, is it, I think there's
I'm looking forward to going and like debunking stuff.
Yeah, you know, and seeing is there a natural explanation? And there's a lot of times that we've run into that. I mean, there is a location out there that's a haunted location. I won't call it out by name, but it has like ridiculously high EMF.
Oh, the whole place needs
Like,
rewired.
the whole place is hitting 50s, 100s. It's crazy.
I think we got like a 150 milligauss spike by the stove, which I haven't.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, how much of that is adding to the feelings that people are getting in that location? Now, with that said, we had some other really cool things go on. I mean, I don't care how high the EMF gets, that has zero relevance on the fact that we kept hearing one of the pocket doors slide in and out. One of the pocket doors that was locked and couldn't move. So
that was actually a perfect segue into actually one of my first questions, and I'm glad you brought it up. It was actually perfect. I didn't even have to find a segue into it. So when you go into these, when you do these investigations, I mean, I know we've all been, I don't know if I want to use the word spoiled or just dumbed down with history and claims. Now, when you do a new location, do you like to go into the history prior to going to the location, or do you like to go in blind and just kind of feel your way around?
I think our answers are going to be a little different. For me, I like to have the history is kind of what I'm curious about. Like I would very much like to know the history as far as people's like paranormal claims. That I could do without, because I think it's going to bias my own, you know, personal thoughts and feelings. So, you know, I don't mind knowing that, you know, this is a house that stayed in a family for 4 generations, and these were the people, this is what they lived when they died, you know, they did for a living. But as soon as you have that, you know, preconceived notion of, oh, people feel creeped out in this corner, I immediately want to spend more time in that corner. And if I feel creeped out, it's hard to tell if that's me or somebody else. And that's tricky because also as the tech guy, if not, I don't know that, it's very hard to like, you know where to set up cameras, or if I'm really it seems like there's a lot more audio caught here. I definitely want a reporter in that area, and I want that information, but I don't want I don't want personal experiences.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me because I love the history of the locations. And so I would like to know the history ahead of time, but even knowing some of the history can, I think, interfere with like the information that I can pick up psychically on a location. And I don't want there to be any bias on anything that I'm getting, even to the point, like sometimes I can walk into a location and I get like, it flashes what it used to look like to me, you know?
That happened to me at Waverly Hills.
Yeah. So, but if somebody has told me the history first and said, oh, well, this used to be a general store, and I walk in and I get a flash of a general store, then my brain, my logic is going to talk me out of believing that actually happened. And I'm going to say, well, you knew it was a general store, so you just pictured it in your head, you know?
Yeah.
So although I would love to know the history going in, and there's times that I can't avoid knowing the history. I mean, like if you're going into Villisca, you can't not know what happened there. But if I can avoid it, I do. So like we're going to a location in August. One of the ones that I got as a Christmas present this year that we haven't really announced yet, but I know nothing about it. I know nothing about it. I just know that he's told me that it's a town.
Oh, you're talking November.
I couldn't remember which was which. I mean, but like we're going to a town to investigate a town, and that's all I know about it. And oh my God, I'm itching to go and research it and know more about it, but I don't want to.
You want to, but you don't want to.
I do. Yeah, exactly.
Is it Billy Creek?
She's a fucking wizard.
That's where my mind first went to, was like, Billy Creek.
I didn't know if we were going to say anything yet.
I don't mind at all. So yeah, bigger focus of ours this year is going to be more like evergreen content. We're big into like the live streams, public investigations.
Yeah.
But my New Year's resolution, which I'm really hoping we don't break, is more like actual full edited like YouTube content.
Nice.
So we've got a few places like locked in this year where it's just going to be us filming. I'm very excited for that to be like kind of a new chapter for Traveler's Moon. And I found Billy Creek first of all because I thought it'd be very cool, like the idea of doing like
because I told him I wanted
town.
A whole town would be just badass. I found out about Bodie, California back in like 2011, and just ever since then, this concept of like whole like little villages.
I was gonna say
Very sexy to me.
First thing in my mind was either Billy Creek or some town out in like Nevada, California area.
Which we'll get there eventually. I really hope so.
There was one in Utah that I was trying to get into because it sounded fascinating, but they don't allow it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, we're gonna hit up Billy Creek before we do ISS in June, just as a day tour and just walk around. Because it's like 2 minutes from ISS. So I'm like,
oh, is it really? I knew it was close. I didn't realize it was like.
Yeah, it's like literally down the road from ISS.
Like throw a rock, hit ISS. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can literally like throw a rock and hit.
He's over there going
Friday night.
Adding something to the itinerary over here.
Right?
See, I told Chris.
Who needs sleep? Who needs money?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Hey, you can always make more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, individually, what got you guys into the paranormal? Let's start with Kelly.
So mine, there's not really like a starting thing for me. There wasn't I had this happen and that got me started down the paranormal path. I moved into a location when I was 10 that had people living there besides us. And when you mix that with the fact that I was raised by a parent who had a fascination into the paranormal, into the supernatural, it just started kind of developing from there where I wanted to learn more. And we did the typical, let's go out and scare ourselves as teenagers things. But my abilities started coming back as well. And when I mixed that with the things that I was experiencing through the spiritual world, I just really wanted to start learning more about what it was, how it worked. And I started just getting a little bit more serious about it and trying to figure out how do I know it sounds so stupid to say it, how do I prove what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, but yet, I mean, that's the goal that we're all doing. How do we prove this to anybody?
I think it's less proving like what we're experiencing and more just proving we're not crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was a lot of that. I just wanted to not be crazy. And I think too, it was a little bit of, I didn't want to be scared of the house that I lived in. You know, I mean, when you're laying in bed as a 10, 11-year-old girl and you hear someone walk down the hallway to your bedroom door, that could be scary, you know? So, I mean, learning
so it's kind of like a face your fear kind of thing.
Yeah. And it just kind of helped me come to terms with this isn't something to be scared of and learn how to interact with them better is a lot of where mine started. I guess.
Yeah. So I kind of half grew up in a haunted house. My grandparents growing up played a huge part in raising me. Because both my parents, they were separated and very busy. So their house to this day is probably one of the most haunted places I've ever been. So and a lot of like eclectic history to it too. So there it was the parsonage for the church next door, funeral home. There's obviously this wasn't documented, but a lot of town legend and aspects of the house that suggest it was a stop on the Underground Railroad. And yeah, and it was weird because it kind of like Kelly, I grew up in an environment where it wasn't like oh shit, we got the ghosts. Yeah. It was just like, I grew up with it. I knew you couldn't take the dogs out through the front door because they got spooked out by this corner. You had to take them around this way. I remember my grandma scolding the ghosts the same way she would me or my brother. And I didn't really have a personal experience to it was something I grew up around, but at 8 years old, I saw very clearly a little boy on the stairs of their house who obviously wasn't there corporeally. And it was just that like, holy crap. Kind of thing. As an 8-year-old, it was absolutely terrifying, but I think it planted that seed of curiosity. And yeah, just over the years, I got into the ghost stories. I think I was like 15 years old though when it really took off. I started doing like actual research, trying to do like field research type stuff. My local library was doing a sale, and all things there was like just an ass load of Hans Holzer books stacked up. So I snatched all those up, started doing real reading. this is when like the ghost hunting shows were getting big, and yeah, it just kind of it snowballed. It was one of those like, I'm curious, I'm going to read a book, and now it's 15 years later, and I used up half my life doing this.
Trust me, I started when I was 13, and my first ever investigation was Mansfield Reformatory. So,
yeah.
But like
I live. Shallow end.
What's that?
Way to enter into the shallow end.
Right? Like, well, the thing about it was the prison had just closed down like 2 years prior. So we were brought in with the historical society to go in and help clean up the prison, sweep floors, whatever. And my dad was part of the historical society for Mansfield. And we only lived 45 minutes away from the prison. So it was kind of like my backyard. And he was like, hey, you want to come one night? They're going to let us stay over and investigate. And I was like, push a broom and then be locked into a prison. I'm 13 years old. I was like, sounds like a fun story. Okay, I'll go. Yeah, that was not fun.
I would be.
It sounds like a great time. I mean,
it was a great time.
Amazing. Where do we sign up, please?
Yeah, where do we sign up for this?
Well, that's like if I was bored on a weekend or something, and back when I lived in Ohio, I would just drive down to the prison, and they like $10. They let you do a self-guided tour. You could be in there as long as you want to.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I'd grab my camera, go down, pay $10, and I spend 3-4 hours inside the prison just walking around by myself. Like, it was a great time.
Yeah, and it's a big enough place. I mean, you can definitely wander around without people interacting.
Even today.
Yeah.
Even at like the Parapsychon, you can walk around and not hit people.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
I love OSR. That's where I got my first full body apparition in a picture. So
not surprising.
So I know Chris is really
place.
We've been there.
I know the photo.
I don't know where this place is. Never been, right? Chris has actually wrote a book about his time at this place. So, do you guys want to say where this place is and what some of the history is?
Yeah, that's my baby.
I've
not
never
my
been.
Baby.
I have
you gotta fix that, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Never been.
That's got to be high on the list. The place is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, like just a whole lot of personality. So this building is the Edinburgh Manor. It's in Scotch Grove, Iowa. The property that's on was the Jones County Port Farm from 1856 to 1910. The building that you see now was opened as the Jones County Home for the Incurably Insane, which is super optimistic, but it was like a long-term living situation. Like you didn't go there unless they knew there was no fix in your noodle.
I mean, there's documentation that we've come across that legitimately talks about how if they think that there's any room for improvement for you, that's not the place for you.
So it's not like, you go to a place like Trans-Allegheny and you see like reasons for admittance, and it was like alcoholism, a lady read a book, chronic masturbation. Like it was none of that. This was like a more definitely like this is where you basically went to spend the rest of your
life. Yeah.
It was kind of like Waverly. You knew something was going to happen. You just go to there to spend the rest of your days.
Pretty much, yeah. And this was more for, obviously during poor farm times, you had very eclectic mix. Basically, anybody who couldn't take care of themselves, you could go to the farm, work for a while till you were back on your feet. Here,
unless you were a woman, because then you can own the land.
I mean, you can own a little bit. You just couldn't own big swaths of it. That'd be insane.
Yeah.
Right. The horror.
So that'd be more like it's 1910. If you had a relative with Down syndrome, I need room in the attic for my shit. Let's just take them and send them to a place like this. The severely depressed, schizophrenic, etc. But it operated basically as that until it lost funding from the state in 2010. And then, not too shortly after,
they opened it for.
Yeah, they opened it for that spooky shit.
Yeah. I know. I went in 2013 for first time, and I remember walking in, and they still had like patient paperwork.
I found brain X-rays and shit. It was.
I saw that. I was like, wait. How is this stuff still here? This is
it is not. It was not HIPAA compliant.
No,
not at all. And it in some of the places it really did look up like they just kind of packed
Very
them up and moved them, you know.
Chernobyl, like didn't even pack
Yeah.
up, like people just disappeared.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. But man, it is a location for sure.
yeah. I remember in 2013 we went in February, so it was effing cold.
Freaking frigid.
Fucking cold.
Oh
And we were with, I think, 3-4 other people, and we were all upstairs in the room across from the stairs. Up when you go up to the main stairs, and you can see that outside that window, looking back to the 2 homes in the back.
Okay, yeah.
We saw it looked like, because we were hearing like voices, we were hearing conversations in the hall, so that got us to look out in the hall. As we were looking, we saw a doctor walk from one of the houses into like towards the building. Let's just say all 6 of us were like jumping over each other to get down the stairs. Someone out the front, someone out the back, and it was raining. So rain/snow that night. So if there was footsteps or anyone walking back there, there would have been footprints.
Yeah,
and no footprints. But we saw like the doctor and right and everything, clear as day. That's what got me hooked there.
Edinburgh really is one of those places where, like, obviously you can't guarantee something is going to happen.
Yeah.
But if I was going to pick a location that I could say is most likely,
that's got to be in the top 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 3. I don't even know if I have a top 5 for every time.
Yeah.
Top 3 maybe.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
See, that kind of reminds me with the way Madison Seminary in Ohio was with me.
Okay.
That was kind of, I turned Jenny onto that location. She finally got to visit last year.
I'm going back this year.
And like the paranormal team I was part of, we used that. This was before Adam Kimmel bought the building. But the previous owner kind of let us like come up there, clean the building a little bit, and they're like, oh yeah, investigate whenever you want to. So we kind of use that as like our testing grounds. And I tell you what, I've been there probably close to 200 times doing investigations, if not just going up to the building and just walking around. And that is one location that I've never gone there and something not happened.
Yeah. And it isn't just, oh, I heard this little noise, or oh, there was a thump.
It's prominent.
We've heard full-blown conversations that's lasted 20 mints. We've heard, both of us on different occasions, audible screams, like blood-curdling audible screams. He's seen
shadow people.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the place. The first time I saw full-bodied apparition since my first experience when I was 8, and it's in that book there. That's very conveniently placed.
It's almost like we knew what we were doing.
Right. So yeah, the book is Fear and Fascination, Edinburgh Manor, and it is. I tell people it's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
So I shut myself in Edinburgh Manor alone for 5 days back in 2013, and it is basically the story of why that's probably not the best idea. But for me, it was definitely one of the most profound paranormal experiences of my life to this date, because there was a lot of, not just because there was a lot of stuff, but I think it changed a lot of my perspectives on how I interact on a paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
Kind of helped put that young man ego in check, because I was 20, 21 at the time. So at that age, you think you're bulletproof, and after
you walked out and were going, well, maybe this is
maybe
something.
not. So yeah, just it's tough because I want to share like every story in there, but I also want people to buy the book. So
of course,
Yeah.
so you've done the whole isolation investigation and things like that. So
yeah.
What did you think when 28 Days Haunted came out?
The long-term concept was very cool to me, because I'm 5 days was a lot for me, and I think it was cool to see the actual 28-day concept, because I don't think you get to really know a location that, you know, you may have seen it on TV, but if you're going to visit for one night, I really feel like you're hardly even scratching the surface. So yeah, that idea of that prolonged exposure, actually living there, that's to me, that's the ideal, you know, investigation experience.
And I think having that long-term experience is definitely, there's a benefit to that. The only difference I would say is like, so if you think about if you're living in a home that's haunted, they get used to you being there. They get to where they recognize you, they're comfortable with you, and that interaction is going to start increasing. And the likelihood that you're going to start experiencing things, maybe it's going to go up. But that's when normal life is going on. And that would be the only thing that I would wonder how that would make a difference, because it wasn't a real life 28 days. If they were completely isolated, if they were truly completely isolated for 28 days, just those people in that house, that's not normal living. And I wonder if that would almost make the spirits less, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. Like it's normal interaction.
Yeah.
You lose somewhat of that normal interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too often, because so like if my thinking is any, you know, investigation is it's very much relationship building.
Yeah.
And in relationship building, you get that break, which I think is that's kind of necessary, like especially in like a new relationship, you know, you need that time to like, okay, I want to be able to miss this person. So when you're, you know, just sitting down, like it basically be like us sitting down and doing this podcast for 28 days.
But the nice part about it too, though, is if they're there for 28 days, you do have that downtime. You do have the time where they're just sitting there shooting the shit and they're eating their meals and they're doing things that are normal things. And think about how often we've captured things on our investigations where we're not technically still investigating. We're having
just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Some of the best shit happens when you're just hanging out.
And that's when the EVP comes through, where they want to be a part of that conversation, or they.
And the best things always happen when you have no equipment running.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We were just at a old school back in December in Nauvoo, Illinois, and it was one of those. And don't be wrong, after I die, I'm gonna be this asshole.
Yeah,
because I know what these people's intentions are coming into these places. But we wrap up the investigation. We just closed the zipper, and we hear a door.
Yeah,
like open and close heavily.
Yeah, like no question, it was a door. It was so frustrating.
But now, with that being said, have you ever been to a location and done an entire 8-hour, 6-hour investigation? It had nothing. It was quiet. And the minute you're packing up, everything just all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like, come on, you couldn't have done this 5 hours ago.
Yeah. Or even maybe you're packing up a little early because nothing was happening, and you're like, well, this is boring. I'm going to go sleep instead. And you start packing up. It's like, okay, damn it, let's dig all our stuff back out, you know, and then they quiet up again.
Yep.
And it's cool and it's frustrating, because on one hand, we are storytellers, we are documentarians, researchers, but I think those are some of the cooler experiences for me, though, too, personally, because I know this is an experience that that was supposed to be for me.
Isn't that pretty? This has quickly become one of my favorite locations that we get to investigate.
Oh yeah.
So for people who don't know, what is this location, and when do you do your visit at this location?
Oh, I have to introduce. Do I get to?
I can start. So these are pictures from Spook Cave, which is located just outside of McGregor, Iowa. It is the most northeast point of Iowa that you can find. Not
quite, because you still have Alameda County up there. But,
it's pretty northeast.
It's right before you hit Minnesota or Wisconsin, if you're looking at Iowa.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's up in the bluffs, and this is actually in one of the bluffs. I'll let him share the history because he knows it far better than I do, Mr. Tourhead.
So yeah, this is a very cool, very personal to me location. So Spook Cave is in the least homeless way possible. I lived in the campground for about 5 years. I was doing like a full-time travel thing as my 9-to-5 job. Spook Cave was my home base. So Spook Cave is a, as you can see, flooded cave. Goes about a half mile back into a bluff. And I think when people think caves, I think they think this is where people probably hid out. Stuff like that. This actually wasn't open to the world until 1953.
And it's actually part of how it got its name.
So yeah, Spook Cave, ironically enough, from our experiences and to my satisfaction, is haunted. But it wasn't, the name Spook Cave didn't come from the actual fact it was haunted. At one point, it was about a hole at the bottom of the bluff that big. The locals called Spook Hole because they heard weird noises coming out of it, which turns out was just the sound of flowing water in there. But it's 53. If we're curious about a weird noise coming out of a hole in the ground, the local self-proclaimed demolitions expert will come in and blow up the side of that bluff just to make sure nothing weird's going on in there.
Right.
Because that solves everything. Dynamite.
Oh yeah. Which, I mean, if I was around a day where OSHA didn't exist, I don't think I'd be here having this conversation, but I definitely would have been that kind of person. So yeah, the Spook Cave's history was Spook Hole, opened as a tourist destination, and that's kind of the attraction history.
So this is a fully functioning tourist campground.
So
they're running tours from April to October, May
through October. They do regular tours.
Yeah. But the regular tours are you go up and you learn about the cave, the geographical aspects of it, the geological aspects of it, whatever word I'm supposed to say.
Those stalactites and malactites and everything,
And it's fascinating. It's an amazing tour. If you guys ever get up there when we're not there, still take the tour. It's a great place. The owners are amazing. But
yeah, there's a whole lot more to it. So the property itself being Northeast Iowa, for anybody not familiar with the area, it's also just a huge eclectic history. And one of the big ones most people would go to is more of the Native American history. So this particular area along, and I'm pointing like this, but you guys can't see it. But I do have a map of Iowa up on the wall here.
I'm pointing at my wall too. I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yep. Right
Okay, so you got me right there.
Yep. And if you go just a little bit down from there.
So right there, a little bit south. So that particular area was a pretty common area for the it was Sauk at one point in history, Fox at another, but these tribes would basically move towards the river during the summer for hunting, fishing, etc., and kind of move inland once it got cold, because that's where they were able to hunker down a little bit better. And that is where you find a lot of the burial mounds, like the actual, in the shapes of bears and birds, snakes, etc. So there are a lot of mounds like that, and there's a solid chance that a few were flattened during the time they were kind of settling this area.
Very strong chance. You're already saying it's not too far from Effigy Mound.
Yeah, so Effigy Mound's the national monument it's closest to. But it also has weird history in the fact there was a railroad town that was passing through.
It's the craziest history.
Railroad town washed away by flash flood twice. A few dozen people died. But if you look up Beulah, Iowa, for some reason or another, you can still find it on Google Maps. That was the name of this railroad town. Mm-hmm. If you look it up, you see the pin, and it drops right in the middle of the lake on Spook Cave property, which is grossly ironic.
Yeah. But it was just this little bitty speck of a town that was built. There was a railroad.
Actually, the population was close to 500.
Well, yeah. In our terms today, it was a little speck of a town, but
there was
a railroad switch that was put in. The town kind of sprung up around it. It flooded. They rebuilt. It flooded again. People died. They rebuilt. Flooded a third time, and they finally got the hint.
Yeah,
they finally got the hint of don't build here.
Maybe not the place to do this.
But yeah, thanks to all that, because we talk about it a lot. We do a little presentation before the ghost tours, and if you wanted to build a perfect haunted location, I would want very eclectic, strong weird energy like that. I would like a place with its own energy source, which is what you're getting from that
Limestone,
moving water,
spring water,
the
running
limestone to
water.
hold in that energy, those memories. So, and it makes perfect sense why it might be haunted.
Yeah.
And over the years, just different stories coming out of there. But we're in this very weird, unique position where, well, it's not a place, and it's unfortunate because it's not a place people can normally access.
No.
It's basically only the Spook Cave Ghost Hunt that we put on every September.
You have to have a certain skill level. You have to be trained to be able to do
It's not something you can just walk into.
Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
Jen or I could jump in a boat and take it back into the caves. First off, we just wouldn't be able to do it physically. But second off, it's not allowed because you could completely ruin this cave system. So
Yeah.
they are not going to allow just anybody in there. It's because Chris has done the tours that he's allowed in that we're able to do this.
So yeah, it was one of those, like, I was always kind of curious, and I'd had some weird experiences, and out of the back of the cave on quite a few occasions, I would actually hear talking, which is
Oh, wow.
bizarre. And at first I thought it was like, oh, it was just cave sounds. But by the time I left Spook Cave, I'd been well over 1,000 tours. Like, I'm familiar at this point with the sounds of the cave.
And he would come out and he would tell me, Kelly, they were talking in the back of the cave again today. And I thought he'd be back there and he like heard somebody go, hey, and like a word here or there. No.
It feels like you're eavesdropping on a party on occasion. It's
Full on conversations.
Yeah.
Full on constant conversations. And you can tell that was female, this is male, these are children. I mean, it's crazy.
And it's, just a very, the location is like, if nothing else, if we didn't get anything out of the actual like ghost tours, the cave itself is very cool to be able to go and see.
I
But
mean, look at that.
the fact this is so consistent, which isn't something you always get in the paranormal field,
No.
was cool. And then it's not even small things because you'd hear the voices, but I got the first green light for the Spook Cave Ghost Hunt actually before we were even together.
Mhm.
It was back in 2019, and as soon as I, that was greenlit, I was getting all of these stories.
All of a sudden, all the cave people are coming out saying, did you know this happened? I experienced this.
And some things that I've had, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just refer to them as cave people?
Actually, I used to call them my cave babies.
Uh-huh. It's okay, because during the event, he's my caveman.
I prefer captain because I'm driving a boat, but whatever works, I suppose.
Captain Caveman.
Oh, there you go.
Caveman.
Oh my God, I'm getting you a t-shirt.
Captain Caveman.
Yes.
That'll be his t-shirt he has to wear every time he does the tour now.
Captain Caveman. You know
Captain
the cartoon
Caveman.
I'm talking about, right? You're not that
Captain
big,
Caveman.
right? Okay.
Sometimes I think you forget the age
Well,
gap.
I think
You've heard of Captain Caveman, though, right?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have to show you Captain Caveman.
Oh, he needs to be educated.
Right. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys, I'm
I
on the
think
young
this
side.
year I'll have to come down for that because
It's
Oh yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and here's the thing. So you've got the natural source for the EVPs, which is a constant. You're going to get that every single time. But
It does
it's
play
not,
around with water ITC in there, which
it
is cool.
does, but it's not just audible stuff. We have had multiple tours. So where we get to stop the boat, where we have to stop, otherwise you bottom out. There's you can go back about another 1,000 feet. Or something
Yeah. So
like
from
that.
where the tour stops to the back of the cave is just short of 1,000 feet.
Okay, so I'm learning. Eventually, I'll be able to do this tour. Now I won't drag the boat, but I can talk my way through it. But anyways, at the back, there's a spot where the cave kind of turns, and we have seen multiples of us and people who have been on these investigations with us. You can see somebody kind of like leaning out and peeking around that curve of the cave. We've seen it on laser grid. We've seen it. They saw it through the camera, but we're not sure if we actually.
Yeah,
caught it
there's
on
some.
camera. And
No, the people that were looking on thermal. No.
And it was thermal, not camera, sorry. And people have seen it like with their eyes, people leaning out around this. But probably one of the coolest experience we had is the first year that we did this together. We took a bunch of the cave people in with us. And so we had a full boat. The cave people, yes, I know, sorry.
I'm sorry, it just makes me chuckle every time.
We had a full boat of the cave people. And so they were a little bit, not out of line, but they were a little rowdier because they've been in the cave a million times.
And the tour guides aren't like this isn't anybody's career. This is like summer job for the local teenagers.
It's like 16 to 20.
Yeah, you gotta be at least 16 to drive the
Yeah.
boats. So yeah, 16
Yeah.
to 20.
But they were being good. I'm not saying that anybody was misbehaving, but we were at the back of the cave and we shut the lights off, and guys, it is blacker than black. I mean, you don't know black until
There's a
you've
certain level of darkness that you don't get unless you're like subterranean or somewhere like designed
Mhm.
to be as black as possible.
Yeah, it's crazy dark in there. So we were in the back of the cave. We had one tiny little light from, I think, a camera light,
Mhm.
something just enough to have a glow that you could see the silhouette of the people. And Chris sits at the front of the boat facing backwards, so he can see everybody that's in the boat. And there was a row of people at the very back of the boat, and he says, "Guys, I need whoever's standing up to sit down. Back row, sit down." And there's two boys back there. We find out he says, "We're both sitting." He's like, "No, whoever's in the very back row who's standing up, sit down." And they're like, "There are only two of us back here, and we are both sitting."
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's one of those cool. Like I had gotten stories very similar to that from my cave babies. Once we like started doing this, it was the boats back when I was giving the tours. It was only 3 rows of seats. It was the person sitting up front, and for example, of the story, they had 2 people in the first row, for 1 person in the second, 1 person in the third. And there's a spot on the tour where, of all things, there is a painting up top. But they show them it, like a light shines through the window pane and shows the painting. But they'd say it was when they loaded the boat, it was 211, and now for some reason it's 212. And they would spook them, so they'd flip on a light, and that second person was gone. So it was very cool to get like that experience that other people were claiming.
So we've been telling everybody you can't get in here to investigate, which is absolutely true. They do not do paranormal investigations except the once a year that they let us host a public event. So
And I'll be there this year.
It is September 20.
We don't have the official event out yet,
but we have the dates locked in.
but it's the weekend of the 21st of September this year.
So you're better at dates than me.
Hold
So
on, I
we'll
gotta
be
look at my
doing-
schedule here. Hold on.
Yep,
Oh,
we'll
I'm
have
free that weekend. Guess
Friday
what?
night, Saturday.
Not anymore.
And last year we did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Yeah.
tours. So, and we just heads up when we do release tickets, Jen, you might want to grab them because they sold out pretty quick. So, but yeah, it's your opportunity to get to go in and experience this beautiful cave with viewing it from the paranormal investigative side of it. And we've been in there now. Oh, I haven't been in nearly as many times as him, but I've been there at this point. I've probably been in 20 times or so. Even if nothing else happened, I cannot get over the awe of that cave. It's phenomenal. I'd say it's very cool, and I chuckle because it also is about 47 degrees in there. So dress warm.
So the
Yeah.
weird thing about the tours is I get asked a lot because I'm as a adult, not one of the normal cave babies. And I'd be asked a lot, like, "Oh, so you went to school for this or something, right?" Like, I couldn't tell them no. I was just really into living in a camper at the time.
It's like really being underground.
So, I lost my train of thought there, but no, it was one of those. I learned a lot from that place. So yeah, fun fact, you had mentioned it was cool. The cave's on average about 47 degrees because that is the annual temperature of that area of Iowa. Because the cave with a certain percentage enclosed is going to retain the average annual temperature of the area.
Which is great when you're up there and it's July or August and it's 90, 100 degrees outside and you get to go in and cool down. But I'll tell you what, when it's cold outside and then you go into 47 degree or you have to jump into the water at the back of the cave.
Yeah, ideally won't have to happen again.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, I don't know if you play any sort of musical instrument or not, but the perfect band name would be Captain Caveman and the Cave Babies.
Ooh, that's fun. So I doesn't go anywhere. Like I play a little drum, I play bass. I pick up random instruments. So like penny whistle, I'm actually pretty solid at, harmonica, etc. I have actually helped shoot a music video in the cave.
Nice.
Did you get it? Nothing.
Darren has a question. What's been the most unique location you have investigated?
I think it's got to be Spook Cave.
I mean, the cave's definitely.
And it's unique, not just in the fact it's a flooded cave investigation that you can only do by boat, But it has these kind of unique challenges. For example, we use a lot of electronic equipment on these investigations. The cave is wet, very wet. So it's, just got these series of like obstacles to it where just a whole lot of fun. But yeah, it has its unique challenges. The fact you can't walk through this, I mean, you can walk through this place, but it's not great.
It's not recommended. I'm sure the cave owners would not find that amusing if we walked through the cave.
Have you ever had somebody come on one of the tours and got so freaked out they tried to jump off the boat?
Not on
Yeah, I
was gonna say not on these investigations. I don't know about a regular.
Claustrophobia.
Is
a lot more prevalent than you would realize, and it's beneficial because going into the cave, you've got maybe I might be able to get it on camera here, like maybe 2.5, 3 feet of clearance above the boat.
Oh wow!
And I have had to talk people out of full-blown panic attacks from like just seeing it. Obviously, we didn't go in after that point. Nobody tried ditching the boat. I have had a group of much larger individuals almost sink the boat because there's spots where you have to go down, and typically, so hey, we're coming towards a low area. A lot of people would be like this, right? No, it was this boat full of people that opted to like lean back as far as they could, and we started taking on water.
No!
So somebody almost left the boat because of that.
Yeah,
and I have had to get out of boats on occasion, not to exit, but to make sure we can exit.
Yeah, and it's not a huge portion, but we do warn people that there's a spot of claustrophobia. You're gonna get friendly with your neighbors for that first 50, 90 feet, but then it opens up into this beautiful cavern. But I can see where that could freak people out. And for us, it's not so bad because I'm sitting on one of the benches. He actually sits up higher than we are, and I'm watching the cave scrape in front of his nose like this. And I'm panicking for him. We've got some distance between us, but his nose is inches from the top.
And there have been times where that's bad. So typically most of the cave babies being smaller, they can hunker down and drive. It's a little trolling motor on the front of the boat, so they can drive just fine like this. I'm a larger dude, so my only option, well, not my only option, but what I find to be my preferred option was lean down the front of the boat and just kind of crawl the ceiling.
The people who've deemed
like
it
my
as
Spider-Man
crawl
technique.
through there, yeah.
And normally that's fine, but every now and then I've had somebody fall back into the boat, and my gut instinct is check, make sure they're okay, and I sit up quickly, and that's not good when there's rock here. But
I think one of the other locations that was interesting is we can't say where, it's another undisclosed location, but it was just the most interesting interaction because it would be very, very quiet, and then it would kind of build, pop, something had happened, but then it went way down on energy again.
And it wasn't little stuff
almost
either. It was full footsteps the first time we had our music box go off.
Yeah. But it happened over and over and over where it'd be really quiet, but then it'd be kind of building, and then something big had happened, but then it was really quiet again.
And it wasn't like that, it's not like that, it's quiet. Too quiet kind of thing. It was genuinely okay, this there's nothing to this place.
Yeah, that was one of those.
You would almost feel almost feels like static is building.
Yeah,
kind of like the calm before the storm.
Yeah, it really.
But it just happened very quickly in these cycles of.
It just ramped up so quick that it's nothing, then boom.
They used all of that energy they possibly could have for this thing.
To do that one thing, yeah.
We kind of talked about it after the fact. This again was a location that, to my knowledge, I and Chris have been the only ones ever been in there to investigate it. Do they not know how to do it? And so they're learning with us how to interact, and we all know that takes a lot of interaction, a lot of energy for them to interact with us, so.
Yeah. Christy asks, what is your favorite place and what instruments do you prefer to use?
Hello, Miss Christy.
I hate that.
Everybody answer at once.
I would say I don't like that favorite place question.
It depends on what you're looking for, I think. So that was a weird one. Yeah.
I'm going there in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
Have you ever been?
Have you been?
Mm-mm.
Oh, get ready.
It's got a little bit of a fun house.
Not a little bit, a huge fun house vibe to it.
Almost
but not an uneasy fun house.
Or even a haunted attraction.
That's,
because it's very, in my opinion, it's very disjointed. the way that it's built. So you know how when you're in like a haunted attraction and they're weaving through the paths and everything, this house feels like that. And as you're walking through the house, Boyd House, this is Boyd House for anybody who does.
No, it's not.
It's the Monroe House.
That's the Monroe
House. Sorry. It's Monroe House. I knew which one I was talking about. Just called it the wrong one. That is the Monroe House. But as you're walking through these twists and turns of the house, it's like you're waiting for something to jump out at you.
Like, yeah, you're like, there's that anticipation.
Yeah.
Like,
you're expecting that jump scare.
Yeah. Like, you can't turn a corner and not like be expecting someone to be there.
But you really do expect it to be almost like a jump scare, not just there's somebody there, or you might hear a noise, or you might see somebody. It really has like you're waiting for somebody to jump out at you. It's the weirdest feeling.
Yeah. I'm excited because I've heard so much about it, and I'm like, okay, we're going to Fort Wayne for the Bell Mansion event. I'm like, let's go down the night before, and they had it open. So I'm like, $175 to investigate for a night. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Candy's been there once. I have not. We're bringing a friend, Lauren, who makes the crystal REM pods with us, and we're gonna do a live stream event that Thursday night, and just investigate, because it's like you've seen it on Death Walker, you've seen it on Paranormal Lockdown, whatever. So I'm like, I want to go see if this place really holds up to what the shows show it as.
Top, like, I don't want to give it like a top 10 weirdest, but like, it's definitely up there for like
uncomfortable.
Yeah, just bizarre.
It falls into we get asked a lot if there's locations that we go to that we wouldn't go back to, or that were so uncomfortable that we had to leave. We didn't leave. We do. I mean, I've never had a place that was actually left. There's been a couple places that I like.
Yeah,
I need to go outside. Yeah, I need to go outside. This would rank up there in the.
Like, the plan was to sleep. We ditched that at 5 a.m. to go find a hotel because we're like, I'm not going to sleep.
There's no way I was going to sleep in there.
And it's weird because it wasn't because of like the activity.
No, it wasn't. And
it was just an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah. And for me, a lot of times I won't sleep in the haunted locations because with me being a medium, they're talking all the time and they won't stop talking, and it's just
they don't stop. And
yeah, so it's hard for me to sleep in locations. But this wasn't that case. It wasn't that they were talking all the time. It's just it was so uncomfortable. Like you'd open your eyes and there'd be somebody just standing there watching you freakily, or I don't know. It was just the weirdest feeling.
Well, I kind of got that feeling when we went to the Bell Mansion in November. It's like I walked in, I was perfectly fine outside, walked through that threshold. I don't know if the EMFs are really high in that building or what, but I got like the vertigo feeling, and people just watching me. At one point, Candy had to take me across the street because I was like literally about to go down, like physically, psychically go down. It was really weird, but we got so much that night. Like, there's a video of me and Derek doing a double Estes method up in. If you've never been, so you go up, you come in the main door and you go up. I want to say one floor. There's this big giant bedroom, actually 2 floors. So you have to go up 2 floors. This big giant room on the left. We were doing a double Estes method, and I guess I was totally in it because I had the goggles on. I had that, and when I do Estes, I channel. That's how I channel, is with the Estes method. And I guess I was saying, "Here he comes. He's coming. He's coming." And then all of a sudden, Candy saw like a shadow go around her through me, and all of a sudden you hear Derek go boom, and down he went. I literally on video jumped like 10 feet into the air. I was like, that's creepy. But we slept there that night, and I remember sleeping in that room. All I was hearing was like footsteps around the whole room. And we had the piccolo from Ghost Gear. It would go off every couple minutes. It was really weird.
That's cool.
I love the Bell Mansion. We're going back in a couple weeks. I'm like, we'll see.
That's one I haven't done yet.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear.
We'll have to do that.
Excited to hear their shit though. That's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody had a question. I think it was Darren. Any new piece of gear you are currently looking at or to get?
Any new piece of gear currently looking at or got?
Your spirit boards.
So I was gonna say my board is and it's tough because I don't know if I want to call it like a new piece of gear, but it's like a new way of using gear.
With the capbles?
Yeah, with the capballs. So it's not near us right now. We're trying to fish it out. But it is a 3 foot by 4 foot board laid out basically like a Ouija board, but in each letter spot there is a washer in place so that I think she's able to like pull up a picture, so it's probably not gonna be the most high res thing. But basically in each one of the letters, instead of playing with a planchette, you have a cat toy.
Yeah, I think I saw that on your Facebook page.
And that has been the coolest feeling out process. Because we've had investigations where, obviously there's nothing or random letters that light up that, don't make a whole lot of sense in context. But we were doing it was our Halloween event at Edinburgh Manor where it spelled somebody's name out. Like one of the attendees, her name was Elizabeth, she went by Buffy. And like it's in the middle of the room. This was a cool experience. Actually, Edinburgh Manor as well. This was back just a little before Thanksgiving.
There it is.
A little before Thanksgiving.
You can kind of see the spirit bird in that.
You're being all thoughtful.
You're really good at this.
I know.
You wizard, you. And unfortunately, we didn't catch the story I was talking about on camera, but my name is Elizabeth. She went by Buffy, and we're all standing around in the captain's room and around this board, and it's me and I think like 6 or 7 other attendees, and we're just asking questions to what we thought were thin air. We almost kind of forgot the board was there, and then that B lights up. And everybody's like, oh shit, something's happening. And the U lights up. And we're like, oh my God, is this thing actually spelling things? And then the F lights up. And everybody else is getting really jazzed. But Buffy's like slowly trying to scoot away from it. Because bless her heart, she came on investigation with a broken leg.
I was going to say, to keep in mind the poor lady had just broke her foot. She could not run away.
Oh no.
But it ended up completely spelling out her name. It was, so yeah, for us, I think that's probably the latest piece of equipment.
Trying to think if we've been talking about getting anything extra.
We're always looking at fun new stuff because I know the tripwire is big on our list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm currently working on rebuilding our portal because I may or may not have accidentally crushed it. It was
How did you do that?
It was the case.
So yeah, it's just the housing for it. So it was in this. And it's a shame because I also kind of ruined an antique a little bit. It was in this. It technically wasn't an antique. It was a recreation.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah, it came from '89. But it was like a recreation of a 1930s radio. And
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Leaving a expo, I went to put it in the trunk, and my car has these aggressively angry bars in the trunk, just the lever it sits on. And I thought it was well out of the way because I know I try to keep the solid stuff, middle soft stuff to the outside. And I went to put it down, the trunk down, and I heard this crunch, and it ended up underneath one of those bars. So fortunately, I have another antique radio.
It's fine.
Then I'm going to cram it in, but that is the last of my antique radio, so we can't be doing that again.
No, you can't be doing it. So, what events do you have coming up? I know you guys are going to be at Potographs Parafest 5 in March. I'll see you there.
We actually have one before that as well.
So yeah, we got our live stream event next weekend. A couple weeks off, which is time off. It's actually been really nice. But after that, we're doing Dead of Winter. It's one of Troy Taylor's events in Alton, Illinois, at the Mineral Springs Hotel. That is February 10th. We've got the weekend after that and I'm going to apologize to all of my Wisconsin friends because I'm probably going to
I know. That's why I'm letting you say it.
all of this. Darren, if he's still in chat, has solicited our services at the Washara County Historical Society and Museum.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Washara?
Washara.
It's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's in Wisconsin. It's not that far from Baraboo.
Yeah, not too far from Baraboo. It is the town's historical society. It's also a jail. It has a very history. Weirdly enough, they don't like us. They're into the ghost hunting stuff. They're not really pushing the spooky stuff. But if you're into people that killed a lot of people and you might have mommy issues, that person may or may not have been at this
very
location
jail.
Yes.
But that's a great way to spend Valentine's Day weekend with your sweetie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's an event that's being run by Darren Buss, and you can go find him or go to our page for information on that one. Several different tour options to pick from.
And then we have our intuitive retreat and ghost hunt, which weirdly it's cool that we get to promote it, but it also sold out within 24 hours of announcement. So this is something that really this has started off as like a Kelly baby.
Yeah, I've been doing these for 15 years, 20 now. It can't be 20 years, 15 years at least, I bet. But yeah, it's a unique weekend where we bring people in and we approach ghost hunting from the other side of things. So we'll spend the first part of the weekend teaching people how to use their own intuition, teaching them how to do pendulums, read tarot cards, read energy. So we do a whole psychometry type experiment. And then we're at the Mason House Inn, which we know is a haunted location.
Oh, that's one of
all friendly spirits, amazing. It's one of those locations that there's almost always something that happens,
Yeah.
But it's completely safe. So it's a great location to take people in and let maybe people who aren't so used to tapping into their intuition experience that and just really get to learn it. And then they feed you amazing breakfast. We're super excited. This is going to be our first time down there with the new owners. Super excited to be able to support them. But yeah, from there, we do have an investigation where we'll be doing some filming in between. But then we've got that Potographs event with Mr. Tim.
Yep.
In Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's the weekend of that. I'm sure it's on the flyer she's showing.
March 8th and 9th.
8th and 9th.
Gonna have to suffer through spending time with Perry again today.
You have to deal with seeing me again.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a
Have to
bitch.
cancel now.
Hide from me,
And then after that we this lady hosts a cavalcade of psychic and paranormal expos across the state of Iowa, and our first one of the year will be on the 15th and 16th. So
that's the Cedar Falls Psychic and Paranormal Expo, and that's an event that I posted with my mom now for I think this is our 13th or 14th year that we've been doing those. So
I think I met you when I redid the one that you had Chris
Cedar
Moon
Rapids, I think. Yeah, I think it was Cedar Rapids way back when.
Yeah, Cedar Rapids.
And then we've got our Dubuque Expo that comes up in April.
And then
13th, and then
this lovely flyer. We do have actually a couple of spots left in these standard ticket sales. We're doing a public investigation at Ashmore Estates, which the lovely man John Cassidy will be helping us out.
Nice.
We're so excited. He's never been, and he's on his list. So.
And I'm so excited to get back into Ashmore. It was our first time last year, and I don't think I've ever fallen in love with the place so quickly. But it was one of those stuff started happening right away. Big things.
Oh yeah,
that's where we were talking. Where we were saying, Russ, when we're setting up, and you're not even investigating yet, and you're having this stuff happen. We didn't even have time to get our cameras out.
We didn't have time to set the liability waiver, and
we
were hearing people more above us. It was.
And we're taking off to see what's going on, and they're like, waiver.
It's like waiver, sign it now. Yeah,
You know
I
what's
went.
going on.
Very excited for that. If you're interested in tickets, it's April 20th. And we had regular and VIP, so the investigation is going to be 7 p.m. to midnight. For standard tickets till 2 a.m. for VIP. But like I said, we only have standard tickets left, not too many of those. But yeah, it'll be me, Kelly, and Mr. Cassidy helping out.
Yeah.
Fucking checks.
I love Ashmore.
It's a cool location.
I'm going back. I'm going back this year in June, and I'm so excited. I told Robin, because the first time I went 2 years ago, he was out in the back doing like a controlled fire, burning some twigs and stuff, and he has the hose, right? And I walked behind him and I say, "Hey, Robin." He turns around and hoses me down with the hose.
I love Robin.
I'm like, so I booked it this year. I'm like, you can't have the hose and you can't
Change of clothes.
Yeah.
Change your clothes. And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know you were coming behind me." I'm like, sure you did.
This time's going to be a little different though, because so last time we went, we actually stayed in a tent, and we'll be staying in a tent this time too. But since the first time and this time,
he has the bunkhouses.
Well, not only they had the bunkhouses last time too, but
they found out exactly where the bodies were. Thanks to Jack.
Oh,
Jack's episode has come out. They had the 3 cadaver dogs confirmed. Yeah, we slept probably on top of people.
Yeah.
The occupational hazard is fun.
When we were there, we kept seeing stuff because we kind of did like Project Fear type of thing. We went all in at separately at one time, each of us, and we're all standing outside looking in the building because you can see when people go up the steps because of the automatic lights. And we're like, okay, he's up there, but then the lights below went on after they had turned on. So we're like, who's following up? And then I look to the side behind the bunker houses, and you can see people just walking where the tree is and stuff. I'm like, yep, it's haunted back there.
Yeah.
So I want to investigate it more out there this time, but that place is weird because that 3rd floor of Ashmore is crazy active too.
Yeah, we're excited to be back out there too, but we have a few more events that we'll be doing throughout the year. I don't think we've actually announced any of them yet, but yeah, we've got several more public events we'll be doing and lots of investigation schedules, and we're excited. It's going to be another busy year.
Oh yeah,
and then of course all the
Paracon, Michigan Paracon.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to miss the Mid-Michigan one this year though. He's got a
my brother's getting married, so
getting married that day, and that's probably going to be frowned on if we skip that. So
yeah, you can't do that.
We may have to miss Mid-Michigan, but we'll be at MI Paracon again and OSR and different ones. So
yeah, you guys are always busy. Like I told Chris the other day, I'm like, well, if you guys are not busy on the 22nd, come to hang out with us at ISS.
Yeah,
which is funny because we have it's the same weekend as Haunted America and potentially
it's that Sunday
Justin's gig. So
gotcha. Yeah, we're already potentially double booked that weekend, but we'll see. We'll see.
You guys are always crazy busy. We'll have to figure out something to do this year together besides events.
Yeah.
Besides your events and your wedding and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, because we're not busy enough. We decided to throw a big wedding in there
in October.
A big wedding.
It's not. Yeah.
I can't wait for your wedding. It's gonna be fun.
We're trying to keep it small, but that's taking up.
You have too many friends.
That's taking up some time, definitely. So that's okay. It'll be worth it.
Where can people find you? Where can they watch your investigations, buy your book, Chris, all that info?
Yeah, so if you're looking for like the one-stop shop, you can find pretty much everything on travelersmoonpara.com. But we do stay pretty big on social media. So like our Facebook, we're constantly on. Thanks to the business suite, I'm also able to keep up on Instagram pretty frequently and easily. So any social media is at Travelers Moon Para, because apparently a regular Travelers Moon was already taken. And then the YouTube is just Travelers Moon. Right now it's a lot of rehashed like live streams, but like I said, we are really shooting for like actual filmed goodness this year. So that's the next big thing for us. It's going to be YouTube.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah, and like we've got one project where we've got a piece of footage that we're evaluating right now.
Currently evaluating, but
we're going to do some debunking when we're out there again a little bit.
I threw my laptop.
Oh, what?
Yeah. He was pretty darn excited, and like took him a minute to be able to come over and tell me what he was seeing, and then he just played the video, and there's no doubt what you're seeing.
So yeah,
no doubt what you're seeing. But we have to do our research.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no.
Wow. We need whole people alibis, which is wild.
Yeah. We are going to have to. We're fairly positive there was nobody else in the area, but we're going to have to go back and watch all the rest of the footage to make sure we can claim this person's here, this person's here, this person's here, so we can say that was not one of us. But
one of our toxic traits, we're really bad. Like we'll review, but we'll have like little batches of footage because investigations are so quick to follow up each other that it'll kind of go by the wayside. So like certain cameras won't get, looked at for a year or so. So it's not fresh in our memories anymore, but jazzed about this footage.
This is crazy. I don't know how it can. It's going to be hard to debunk it. One of them's missing their head.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, they one of the figures that goes by. One's there, but then the other one kind of cuts off at like both the shoulders.
Oh wow.
I mean, and I'm not saying that there's a headless specter at this location. I'm just saying that
it's weird they don't have a head.
If it's a person, there was something wrong.
Wow.
Might want to get it checked.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you may need to see a doctor. But we're going to do more research. We just, like I said, we want to make sure we can account for everybody. And then when we're out there this spring, we're going to just do some tests to see, is there any way that
from that camera angle, like somebody, for some reason, if they were walking through in pitch black, show up a certain way on IR.
I can't think of any windows in that area, but could there any possible way of a shot? We're going to do our best before we put it out there. So that's pretty cool.
Interesting. Well,
you see that orb?
I saw that orb.
Yeah.
You look like you saw that orb.
It came right at me, but it was a fly. Well, like I saw it come at me, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Are orbs and flies / dust not the same thing?
Oh, you know.
Don't get him.
I was gonna say we'll start a whole new tangent.
The other day, my wife and I were sitting here watching TV, and she had her Stanley mug sitting on the counter. She had just watched it, and we were just sitting here actually just watching TV. Nothing. No train came by our apartment to shake anything, but out of nowhere, the Stanley just flew off the counter like halfway through the kitchen. Because we weren't even paying attention, and we just hear the metal hit the floor, and it's like, okay.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, it's not a fly. It's a ladybug.
Oh,
which is weird, being January in New England.
That's fair.
That's very weird, and it's actually sitting on Jenny right now.
That's really weird.
Well, it's warmer in your house than outdoors, so.
Well, you just got like 4 inches of snow today too, so.
Ours is coming tomorrow.
Well, I'm good with that. Yeah. I don't want no snow. It's been mild here in the Midwest. Let's keep it that way.
Our area, I think they're talking upwards of a foot.
Allegedly.
2
inches.
Allegedly.
Inches. I mean, it's.
You have fun with that.
We're gonna get this much snow.
Yeah.
Just like this much snow when they say about this much snow, and
it's hard to say.
Yeah. You keep it down in Iowa. Don't send it to Minnesota because we're good. You
guys are so much more used to it than we are.
Y'all are so much further north. I think if anybody deserves it, it's you guys.
No. Well, I'll share it with you for now. It's fine. Okay, Russ, ask your questions.
All right, so we'll cut it down here a little bit. So for each of you, if you could investigate any location no expense is spared. Like you could go anywhere all over the world. What 3 locations would you definitely want to check out?
Ooh, it's 3.
Edinburgh vaults.
The vaults in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Without hesitation.
I
want
I knew that was
multiple
gonna be
days, and I need to be attached to a string so I can find my way back out. But I want unbridled access to the entire. Oh! It would be so much fun.
Alcatraz.
I've been to Alcatraz. I've done the tour.
Oh, how was the tour? Sometimes you get like a good idea just like based off the tour.
Yeah.
It was cool because we did the Twilight tour, so it was the last boat leaving from the pier going out and the last one coming back in.
Okay.
So we were there like right at dusk.
Ooh.
So which was really cool because when we loaded the boat to come back to mainland, it was like dark out. But it was really cool just the feeling like you could like see the sun starting to set and it's starting to get darker in areas of Alcatraz. And it was just like it kind of took on that spooky kind of vibe to it. But like it was awesome.
Alcatraz.
I would definitely like do the tour, but definitely buy your tickets early because they sell out real quick.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like I went at the end of April and I just expected it to be like slow. And they had tours sold out. Luckily enough, they had somebody cancel, so we were able to get tickets.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Pavalia.
I was gonna say, I was thinking like I've been big into like islands and ships and things like that lately. Pavalia would be very cool.
It's just one of the
Weird fun fact, and she's gonna hate that I say this. I've actually been very close to Pavalia, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I was doing some time abroad, and yeah, it just happened to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They had pointed out, oh, that's where a lot of people. In Venice, obviously,
He was in Venice.
He was in Venice.
People talking on the boat were like, oh, and that's where a lot of
Was
white
it
people
before or
were
after
shipped.
Austria?
Venice was after Austria.
Not that I'm bitter that he's traveled the world or anything.
Before that, Austria was Paris. Technically, before that was Liechtenstein. I finished off England. Did like a Jack the Ripper tour in London. That was really cool.
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay.
Not jealous.
Jealous a little. So you can write a whole book about your world travels.
Actually, I wasn't really doing spooky stuff then. I think I weirdly enough at the Tower of London, I caught a photograph that, looking back on it now, I thought was like maybe something, but it was also like word maybe something. So I'm gonna give that like a 10% chance at best.
No, Chris's hidden talents. He can sing very well. So he was.
Yeah, I traveled with Isle Ambassadors in Music back in 2010. Back to the question that I don't know if I can give a third.
The Edinburgh Falls for sure.
Suicide Forest in Japan has always been fascinating to me.
If
If nothing else, to just feel the area out. I'm always weird about investigating places where suicide is so prevalent.
Yeah.
I
I would worry about that one being a place for me.
I think Chernobyl would be cool.
It would
I don't know
be,
if I'd get free.
but
It's fucking the thing. I'm getting a radiation suit, okay? And I don't even know if it's haunted. I just want to. And this is the thing. It's where it goes.
Well, they do the tours now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
Last States was there investigating. So
Don't they send you in with some sort of like a monitor and like when you're
Yeah.
they send you in with a
high?
Geiger counter. They send you
Yeah.
with a Geiger counter to like a personal Geiger counter to make sure the radiation doesn't get high, and they give you a time limit of how long you can be in for exposure. So
I'm not gonna. No, I'm okay not taking those chances.
Well,
I just want to check
really
the
good.
outlying buildings. I don't want to go into like the actual chamber where everything happened. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
I think
Although
just checking
some
the outside areas
weird
would be cool.
photos have come out of there.
Yeah. See, Pat Kraft just brought up one that's like on my list is Auschwitz.
So
I just want to like you, Chris. I
know.
just want to go to like feel it out and just be there and like.
I spent some time in
experience it.
Dachau, and so this was before I was really open to like feeling energy, and it was one of the most gut wrenching experiences of my life.
Yeah. that's one of those I'm not sure I could do.
I don't think I can
Part of-
handle it.
Part of me wants to, and part of me is very concerned about going there. But I mean, given the chance, I'd do it. I mean, you don't pass up a chance.
As a ghost hunt, I don't know if I could do it.
But I think I'd have to have a lot of guards up going into
I don't
that
think I
place.
would investigate. I would go just to
Experience.
to say that I
Yeah.
stood here.
Yeah, and I just don't know with all of the emotions and the residual energy that's there, if with my best defenses that I could keep it all out. And I think that's my biggest concerns. Of going to
Well,
a
see, you're
place
like me. I
that.
just absorb everything, and I had to walk out of the traveling Titanic exhibit because things just hit me so hard.
Mhm.
I mean, the one in Pigeon, like I haven't been to the Branson one, but yeah, the Pigeon Forge one is. You get to some areas, like especially the room where they have like all the actual artifacts and
The
Mhm.
belongings and everything. Yeah, that's
Oh.
where I had to walk out. Like I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Even like, I went to the one in Las Vegas. At I think it's at the Lexer.
I
They
think
had it.
was- I can't remember, but yeah.
I had to walk out of a lot of it because of the energy attached to the items. I'm like,
See, and my bigger was when I hit the steerage hallway. Like it's like I walked into a brick wall. I couldn't make myself walk down the hallway.
hmm
I just couldn't do it, and it was too. I was going to get trapped in that hallway. It was
Yeah.
weird.
But
And yet, we're probably going to go do it again. You know.
Because you never learn after the first time.
No, never.
It'll be different this time, right?
Yeah.
What
Because
Yeah.
what's the definition of insanity?
It depends on who you're asking. I think it was Einstein's definition that was repeating the same thing and getting different thinking. And assuming you're going to get different
It'll
results.
be fine.
I say this one will be different because you're actually in a half-scale replica of the Titanic, or an actual like 2-scale replica of the Titanic.
So
We're doing like a
more
little mini honeymoon
realistic.
out in the Smoky Mountains. So the Pigeon Forge one is like
Ooh, yeah, I want
basically
to
the other half of the one that's in Branson.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know that the one I was in was even that big. I went in Vegas, so
No, it
it
was.
was
Yeah.
a cool exhibit, but it wasn't anywhere near.
No,
that
like the
scale.
building looks like half the Titanic.
Yeah, no, it's nowhere near
It's
to that.
It's not like
scale.
Missouri or Tennessee. I haven't been to either one of those yet, but
Yeah, the one I went to was actually in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was the traveling one. They take the different museums
yeah.
and everything like that. And like we went there and just did that, and it was weird. It was just a
Darren
weird
said-
feeling.
Darren was saying he think you'd have fun at the bird cage. That is
Bird
what I
cage-
want
oh,
to
yeah.
get into.
I've been there.
Birdcage Theater.
There's-
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
We were going, and then
Something happened.
What happened?
COVID.
No, COVID didn't happen. I got a new job and
Oh.
travel got sketchy.
Yeah.
Sketchy, but like less likely. I went from a position of a job I absolutely hated that I could get like all the time off in the world I wanted to.
That wasn't the same year I had surgery on my
No,
knee.
no, the year before. But yeah, switch that to a job that I absolutely love, but not be a little more mindful about my
Yeah.
time off.
We were supposed to. We'll get that one back on the schedule. But yeah, that was in the works. We had pretty much everything arranged to go down and get to go into the bird cage and
Which would have been cool because I actually used to live like 45 minutes north of Tombstone.
Of course you did.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many places that are on our list that we want.
The problem is everywhere is on the fucking
because
list.
like Queen Mary,
Yeah,
Yep.
everywhere.
Queen Mary, and a part of me wants to go to the Winchester House because everybody
Oh, yeah.
talks about the Winchester House. And
Check
I
it
wanted to. That's another one of those that I want to see. Does it live up to that? You
Yeah.
know? Part of me thinks probably it's not going to, but maybe I'll be surprised. But I also just want to see the craziness of the house because
Oh
I
yeah.
know, right? Just walk around
Who
doing
builds
the
a house like
gates
that?
or get
yeah,
lost in that freaking house.
You know, one place that I would always like, it's no longer in existence. It's been torn down. But one of my like dream locations to be able to like not only investigate but actually walk in and just see the thought process behind this building would have been H.H. Holmes' Myrtle Castle in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Like that would have been
Oh,
just
yeah.
crazy to see.
That's got some weird,
Oh, yeah.
weird history.
Yeah.
Just-
It's weird 'cause we're currently re-going through American Horror Story, so like we've been talking about H.H. Holmes because
Oh
the
yeah.
hotel series is. No, yeah, that'd be. I hadn't even thought of that. Like historical places that would have been cool to visit.
Yeah. I wonder what Roanoke.
I know, it's-
Now you can go just check your mail there.
yeah, right.
Yeah, right. And it's so weird.
I still would.
There's these places where you have something like that happened, and now it's just a grocery store. Or, it's just like, do you know what happened?
Like, yeah, I know, right? And I've driven past it. My friend really took me past the murder house in Chicago. And let's just say that area of town is not the greatest. So he's like, you're not getting out of this fucking car. You're not getting out of this fucking car without, like, me with a gun, and I don't have that. I'm like, okay, we'll park across the street. I'll take a picture from the car. I really wanted to go in and, walk around the post office, kind of. But he's
actually, it's really funny because Jenny, 2 years ago, when we were on our way back from Gettysburg, when we were driving back through Connecticut, we stopped at the Winchester Arms Factory. And it's actually closed down now. But, like, we read about it and everything, and, like, a lot of the factory's still standing. But you drive into this area, and the minute we drove into this area, it was like, yeah, roll up the windows, lock the doors. We are not stopping. Just get your pictures on the go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have that on occasion.
Well, if you're saying it was one time.
It wasn't even intentional. So we were on our way to Limp Mansion, which is in a beautiful area of town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have a motorcycle. And so quite often our GPS would be set to avoid highways. So we put in Limp Mansion, but we forgot to turn off the avoid highway.
I'm going to take a break.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're taking these roads, and we're starting to watch, like, the areas that we're going through. And it's like, what are we doing? Where is this taking us?
Yeah.
Doors, don't stop. I don't care what happens. Don't stop the car, And it's just like, this is bad. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, do you still have avoid highways off? And sure enough, and so then it looped us back up to a highway, but it's like, I've never been so anxious to get out of an area in my life.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, that's like, it reminds me of, dear friend of mine, Scott Grunwald, RIP, God rest his soul, would always tell me about stories about when they did Linda Vista Hospital out in California, to the point where they had to have the cops walk him in, walk him out. They wouldn't let anybody go in the building unless the cops swept the entire building first.
Yeah,
he was telling me about there were times they were doing EVP sessions and they would hear gunshots from outside the hospital, and I'm just like, I'm like, I'm already dealing with the things I can't see.
Right? And that's not nearly as scary as the things you can see.
The living scare me more.
Yeah. Mama Pat had said another one that I would love to get to, Madame Lalaurie mansion in New Orleans.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Love to get in there.
Just the entire town of New Orleans.
Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah. The whole
city, not town.
The whole town though, I just love walking around there and the history of it, and just All
right, sorry guys, I'm very well hydrated.
Don't apologize, trust me, we're all been there. All right, so my last question for you guys before we wrap this up. If you're assembling a team, and it kind of seems like I'll cut down it, because normally my question is 5 people, but I'll cut it down to 3 for you. So what it is you have to assemble a team to investigate with. Now, the catch of it is it could be living or dead, fact or fictional people.
Fact or fictional?
Yep.
Fact or fictional.
So to
you have to create
list,
your team of 3 people.
Or can we bring them in and decide if we like them or not?
No,
this is you're assembling it. It's a dry run. It's once you're in, you're in.
Oh, so you gotta hope line chemistry up, because I've always had this thing where I'd like to get a really super science mind, and for some reason dream podcast guest dream somebody to come along investigation for me. For some reason it's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I literally, as soon as you started saying that was in my head.
I guess it almost kind of depends on what kind of evening I want to have.
See, and that's my thing, because it's
is there an objective to this investigation, or is it just we're hanging out for an evening?
It's a one-time investigation, so we're not going to have to.
No, one-time investigation. You're going to investigate, whether you're going to be teaching them how to, or whether you're going to be using them for I had somebody. I had somebody say they want to bring Kevin Hart in because they just want to see him run away down a hallway.
Lorraine,
so
I want to see how she does it. I want to see her method.
Okay, so we have Lorraine Warren
No, we don't have to both say the same people.
Okay.
Do we have to say the same people?
No.
Sorry.
We are
I will withdraw it if we have to assemble one team because that's not going to fly.
Okay, how about this? You guys are together. You get 3 people you choose. You get 3 people you choose.
Okay.
So you'll have a team of 8.
Gosh. Holzer.
Yeah.
Hans Holzer. This is hard.
Oh my god. This is
I didn't say it was going to be easy.
It's hard with this.
good god.
I want like somebody super techie. I mean, you're good techie, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I want somebody super techie. Like design.
I want like put her
I'm
like
gonna take the wizard in with us. Like I want someone who can take in a tool that the rest of the world doesn't get to experience.
put something together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. It almost like
Sorry, we have a friend that we call him the wizard because the man is
a fucking wizard.
unreal genius, and he builds these devices that they do things I've never seen anybody be able to do with a device before, and it's phenomenal. But he's not looking for the fame, he's not looking to share them, he won't make ones for other people, he just wants to see if he can make it work. But he's fascinating.
And I would part of my brain wants to go to like just like the big like psychics and that sort of thing. But I feel like that almost get kind of boring. So I'm thinking like I'm looking at a copy of Sherlock Holmes right now, and I think Sherlock Holmes would be intriguing.
Well, like Pat just said in the chat, Tesla.
Nikola Tesla would be awesome.
Wow, this is hard.
This is really difficult.
We loop back and answer next week? I need time to analyze my answers, okay?
Well, see, that's what's great about it is like it's the knee-jerk reaction of like putting you on the spot and you have to name it and like. Oh, trust me, because before I used to give people 5.
5, God, how?
So I cut it down to 3 for each of you.
Okay. Fuck it. I'm going for a really good night. It's gonna be me, you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. This may or may not be coming out of left field, but I feel like he's got some insight on this. Jesus.
I thought about that.
And this is just because this is someone that like past celebrity I've always kind of like been fascinated with, want to hang out with. Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh wow, that would be definitely an interesting
just
one.
out of left field. I want to see like how bonkers it gets.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Holzer. I thought about like Edgar Casey.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. I don't know who my third would be.
Me.
Of course. I mean, that's a given. Yeah, I don't know. I have to stop thinking about that more. Ooh. I want to take like the border. I mean, we can be from any time, right? Like from anywhere. Yep, I'm going to take the Oracle with us. Screw her. She doesn't need to sit in a cave and
Old Greek
be over
Oracle.
there. Yeah. I'll rip her out of her cave. She can go with us. She'll be fine. How fun would that be?
Going with the old bog witch.
It's a solid personality test because Kelly's like, I want all of the great mystics of history, and I'm like, I want Jesus an astrophysicist.
Right.
But think of the team we're gonna have.
And
We're gonna have
Raoul
an amazing
Duke.
team. It'll be an amazing team. We've got
Yeah, it
I'm
would
gonna
be
have way better
amazing.
stories at the end of the evening.
You'll have amazing stories, yes. Well, thank you two for coming on. We
Thanks for having us.
appreciate
This was
it.
fun.
Absolutely
And I'll see you
appreciate
guys very, very soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes. We'll see a lot of each other this year, I think.
I suppose we'll suffer through it.
Yeah, I guess it's
You'll suffer through it.
okay.
Yeah.
Chris will crack my back again a couple times.
Amateur chiropractor over here.
Yeah. We'll just
Yep.
sign the waiver at a time.
Not
It's fine.
actually.
Sign the waiver and it'll be good. Well, thank you guys again for coming on, and I will see you guys very soon.
Thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye. Okay, so next week we have Kyle of Right Hill Mansion coming out from New Jersey, coming on. And then the following week, Ian Murphy will be on with Russ. And then we have Lauren, the creator of the Crystal REM Pods, will be on with us. I'm trying to think what else we have. We got merch. That's what we got now. We got merch. We got merch. Pre-orders for unturned pages, as you see in that picture right there, is available. $20 shipped. We are doing pre-orders, so if you are interested, hit us up on our Facebook page, Unturned Pages, and we will get you guys added to the order list and payment and everything. So if you're interested, get with us and we will get it on order for you.
Definitely.
Whispers Within, my other podcast on Thursday nights. This week we have Lauren, the creator of Crystal REM Pods. And then next Thursday, super excited, we will be live at the Monroe House that we were talking about on this podcast, with a special guest coming in via video from Greece, Catherine Cyrillos. Super excited because she's been there and she is a psychic medium, so she will be helping us out on our investigation. Get Haunted, the network we are on, has amazing events coming up within the next couple of months. The first one is the 13th, which is at the Manley Mansion in Pennsylvania. If you're interested, go out to Get Haunted. They have one on the 27th at the New Egypt Historical Museum. And then March 9th is their big launch of their Warren's Devil on the Run tour at the Stanley Hotel.
Shanley, not Stanley.
Shanley, sorry. Definitely go check that out because I think they're adding a second date, I believe. And then they have one coming, being announced hopefully within the next couple of weeks in Missouri, which I'm super excited about because I will be there with them. Super excited. If you're in Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa area, close to the Indiana area, the Bell Mansion 28 Days Haunted event is coming up next weekend, the 19th and the 20th. I will be there doing aura photography and selling my photography with some crystals and tarot. Meet the whole cast of the Bell Mansion. Christy, I can't say where in Missouri until they announce it. But keep an eye on the Get Haunted Facebook page and you'll see it very soon. If you're in Minnesota, February 17th, I will be at this event in Stillwater doing aura photography and all that fun stuff. Pennhurst, Paracon is coming up in May. Super excited. I have never been to Pennhurst and I'm going this year. And then we have our favorite one of this podcast, Gettysburg Bash in July. Me and Russ will be there selling our merch.
I'll be doing a lecture. I'm not sure what day yet, but I'll definitely be doing a lecture with these great individuals listed on the flyers here. Yep. Always a great time. Hotels sell out quick, so if you guys are interested, get on, book a hotel now. You don't get charged until you check in or you check out, I believe. Mm-hmm. So definitely get in there to reserve your spot.
And then this one.
So these both are offered by the Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. We have a couple different options for you for the weekend experience. It's the House of Hurt and Pain and the Heart Stuff Hall. You get to spend the night at the house on Friday night, and then Saturday night you get to investigate the hall, which are both very, very active locations. Plus we have cemetery tours that we're working with the town with. Wilson Castle up in Vermont. Definitely this is going to be the 5th annual Bash at the Castle. It's kind of something different. You can investigate, or you can hang out and party with everybody, but it's definitely a good mixture of people and personalities. And then, of course, we have the great East Coast Para Expo, which will be the second annual, I believe. Third.
Yeah, something like that.
Second. So that's coming November 2nd and November 3rd, right here, 5 minutes down the street from me, Rockland, Massachusetts, right at Heart Stuff Hall. It's great, always a great time, always great speakers. It's a little twist. We're not calling it. It's definitely something that is worth checking out.
But yep. Check us out. We'll be all over the place. I will be, at least.
You will be.
I will be.
I'll
Never
be
know. I'll do my weekly check-in and be like, "Hey, I met them in Morehouse. Hey, I met Madison Seminary." Never know where I will be. But we'll be back here next Sunday with Kyle. Check us out on Thursday with me and Candy on Get Haunted podcast network. But we will see you back here next Sunday, same time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great week.